in. That way, once it's up, Daryl can go ahead and talk. But Daryl, let us go live first.
You're live.
All right, Ms. Scaring, the roll call, please.
Mr. Cordray?
Here.
Mr. Rozzi?
Here.
Mr. Sousa?
Here.
All right, next item on the agenda we do have is the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the clerk's journal and accept the tapes as the official minutes of the April 1st, 2020 Township Trustee meeting.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
All right, next item on the agenda we have are bills before the board tonight. Make a motion to approve EFT vouchers 118-2232-846 through 118-223-2911.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve payroll withholding checks 319-60423 through 319-60431 and 319-60459 through 319-60472.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve checks 81368 through 81377.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
All right. Make a motion to approve checks number 81378 through 81410.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
All right. Next item on the agenda we do have this evening are public comments. Mr. Centers, were any submitted for tonight's meeting?
Yes, sir. One was Joe Walker submitted a public comment, which I'll read as he sent in. Due to the stay-at-home order issued by the governor and encouraging everyone to get outdoors, a problem has developed on Cones When the weather is really nice and on weekends, Cones Road has become an overflow parking due to no spaces in Loveland to park. I have no problem with people enjoying the outdoors, but due to the narrow road and no real parking on Cones, people have been parking along the road, narrowing it down to a one lane. With that and the increase in pedestrians and illegal parking, it becomes a safety issue when you're trying to bring a vehicle or commercial truck through. I spoke to Chief Hughes about it on April 9th, and he said he would talk to Mr. Hickey about possibly putting up no parking signs and get back to me. As of this email, I have not heard from anyone. With warmer weather coming, this problem is only going to get worse. I would appreciate it if you could look into this for the residents of Cones and Adams Road before something happens or someone gets hurt. That was submitted by Joe Walker today, April 15th at 9:16. Would you like me to follow up on that or explain kind of the background of that?
Yeah, if you got some feedback or information on that, that'd be great.
I do. So Mr. Walker did reach out on April 9th to Chief Hughes about that. He had, they had a conversation, and Mr. Hickey and Chief Hughes both drove down together to look at the site. Regarding the signs, there's actually concrete along those roads on the side, like at post berm. So driving in signs wouldn't be a real viable option. On top of, there were nobody illegally parked at the time. So when Chief Hughes initially talked to him prior to this, he said, when somebody's parked there, call us and we'll send a patrol officer down to look at it. And we can address it at that point. But we haven't been down there and seen anybody parked illegally.
Okay, do we expect any, is that typically a hot spot for like people come going on and off the trail there, or is that, do we
There's a
know, or-
pull off there, and people use the pull off. If that gets backed up, I assume they would probably park on the street. However, our patrol officers have never seen it or it's been a problem that anybody's called in on.
Gotcha. Mr. Rossi or Mr. Sousa, do you guys have anything on this?
I don't.
It's Mark. Just all I would say is if I know we're a little light in our normal work workload right now, so if maybe we can, Chief Hughes, make an effort. It's nice weather or a weekend, maybe a little extra patrol down in that neck of the woods. When we're in this stay-at-home order, just to make sure that we're proactively watching it to make sure it doesn't become an issue.
Yeah, in fact, we already spoke of this as a staff, and when the weather breaks, they're going to go down there. As Mr. Sinners alluded to, there's one spot in particular where you could pull off the roadway. I haven't seen the violations firsthand, but I venture to guess what's occurring is they're parking in that pull off and their cars hanging out in the street. But once the weather breaks and the bike trail picks back up, we'll definitely go down there and check it out and take enforcement actions as needed.
All right. With that, Mr. Sinners, was there any other public comments this evening?
No, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and then move on to the next item on the agenda, which is with regards to human resources. Ms. Krieger?
Good evening, gentlemen. At this time, I would like to request a motion to approve the purchase of a niche in the columbarium in the Mayville Cemetery. It's niche 40 to Mr. Brad Walker, and the purchase price is $600.
All right. Mr. Sousa or Mr. Rossi, any questions or comments?
Nope. Not on this.
No, I'm
All right.
good.
Okay. With that said, moved.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Thank you,
Ms.
gentlemen.
Krieger. All right, next item on the agenda we'll move to is new business. We do have one motion to consider this evening. This is a motion to adopt the additional leave policies pursuant to the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. This policy will provide specific compensation statutes and eligibilities for our employees under different situations regarding suspected or actual quarantine following COVID-19 exposure. Mr. Sinners, can you just kind of maybe just provide just a tad bit more just background as far as kind of or detail on this?
Sure. I'm muted. The additional leave policies, it's a Family First Coronavirus Response Act. It was passed by the state, and with that, it's not mandated that anyone adopts it, but a lot of places are adopting it. As private sectors have kind of the option to close, and unfortunately, even if they don't want to, a lot of them are. We don't have that option. Our first responders and even a lot of our public works guys are still working essential jobs and putting them on the front lines. So if they were exposed or any potential exposure, this gives additional FMLA options for those, for different types of exposures. And if you look on page 3, it kind of spells out those different exposures. If it's a family member or if it's them proper, or if it's someone that lives in their house, it's different ranges of leave.
Gotcha. All right, Mr. Rossi, any questions on this? Or comments?
Yeah, I do have a clarification. Are we sure that this isn't mandated, that this might possibly be an extension of FMLA? I did a little bit of research online just to verify what it was, and it looks like it was a directive possibly put down by the Department of Labor as a mandate. Do we have anybody who can clarify that?
It's my understanding that it's not mandated.
Okay.
It is, I believe it's recommended, but it's not mandated to the best of my knowledge from Frost, Brown, and Todd when it was drafted up for us. Kelly, do you have anything outside of what I just said?
I have attended several seminars on this recently, and it is strongly encouraged. I do not believe it is a state mandate yet. But most companies are drafting this FMLA policy.
Okay. Right. I've heard that. I've heard that most companies are doing everything they can to assist their employees. So that's all I have.
Mr. Sousa, do you have any comments or questions with regards to this motion?
Yeah, just a comment I'll make. I'd had a couple people reach out to me that are, I would say, tend to be on the side of being a little bit fiscally conservative, and were maybe concerned about abuse of a policy like this. And what I wanted to point out to the public is, after reviewing this, in both of the primary qualifying scenarios, the employee has to come out of pocket, per se, of using some pay time off in the initial period. And then they're paid at a reduced rate, like 2/3 of a normal wage. And if they want to make that up again, they're using their paid time off accruals, whether that be sick or vacation. So just, I'm pretty comfortable that, in the nature of what's, that in the environment that we're in, that abuse, I think, in a program like this is really unlikely. And I would point out to the public that it has a termination date at the end of this year. So this will not be permanent. I'm sure that date could change depending on COVID-19 and how long it lingers. But hopefully by, later this year, we get to that end date, and this will terminate and would return to, normal terms of FMLA. That's all I've got.
All right. With that, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve, to adopt the additional leave policies pursuant to the Family First Coronavirus Response Act.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rousey?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the fiscal officer's report. Mr. Weber.
Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate that. This is our March report. So we're through the first 3 months of the year. And basically, we're right on track. So that's basically a quarter of the year. So we've spent 27.28% of the budget so far. And the revenue year to date is 6.9%. But as you all know, here in April, we did just get our first draw. We're in the process of getting that, and Ellen's logging that in. Thank you, Ellen, for doing that. And so next meeting, or not next meeting, but next month in in May, getting all mixed up here. In May, at the second meeting, we'll be able to report on the revenue received at the first draw here in April. So yeah, in March, we're right on track spending, which is good. Our cash balance is $8.35 and some change $1 million. That's overall. Also, there is a cash flow summary report that you guys have that basically just kind of breaks down each, fund. And January through March, each month individually and collectively, that shows, the beginning balance and what the expenses were and the revenues were, and the status of each. So everything looks good from our perspective, but if you have any questions, I'd be glad to take those.
Mr. Rossi, do you have any questions for Mr. Weber?
I don't. It looks like we're moving forward in a good direction, so I'm good.
All right. Mr. Sousa.
Just one question for Kurt. Kurt, if you could maybe, I've had a resident or two ask me about the impact of COVID and how it might be affecting our finances. And I know Ellen sent us that communication from Mr. Nolan. Could you maybe just hit on a couple of the areas that it may impact us and speak to that just a little bit?
Yes, sir, Mark. Yeah, we did we got a communication from Matt Nolan, the county auditor, and I think his communication was in response to some townships that were reaching out to him asking how the COVID-19 would affect us. And the good news in our case as a township is that we're largely funded by property taxes. And so that is a good thing, because our first draw, he alluded to in the email, was good. It was, you know, a good a good draw, and the receipts were good. So that's good. Obviously, that wasn't impacted by the COVID-19. He did mention that, you know, the second draw will, you know, be like normal. They're not going to delay that any. And, you know, there's always a chance for some delinquency, but he was hearkening back to 2009 during the recession, and that delinquency was 5% or less in Warren County. So that's, you know, there again, he prefaced it by saying, you know, this is something new. We don't know what we don't know about this COVID-19, but you know, the cities, municipalities, they rely on income tax, and that's a greater concern on their part. So so as far as the property taxes, we hope that, you know, they'll remain strong. And then also he did mention, and as you guys all know, with, you know, part of our funding comes from the gas tax and part of it from the license plate fees, and obviously people driving less, that has, you know, reduced that revenue. And we've heard, you know, it could be reduced, you know, anywhere from 30 to 40%. But there again, that's all speculation. But the good news is I think we're strong there in those funds, and that makes up you know, a much smaller percentage of our revenue. So, and the BMV with the license plate tax fees, that's the BMVs are closed, but you can still renew your tags online or via the mail. So it's just a matter of, you know, when will we receive that revenue? It comes generally a couple months delay. So with the BMVs closed, does that mean that we won't see that for a while? I guess that's an unknown as well. I would hope, since people are still submitting the funds, that we will receive that. But there again, that's a very small percentage of our revenue. So all in all, it's a good thing that you know, the large part of our revenue is property taxes, and that's a good thing.
Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you, Mark.
And I'm good. I don't have any questions. Appreciate the reports and the feedback and everything, as far as that goes. All right, next item on the agenda we'll move on to is the administrator's report. Mr. Centers.
I do have a few items tonight. First, our EPA work at Mounts Park is still on course following your resolution last meeting. Everything's still on track. We've been in communication with them, and it updated exactly how we had hoped. With Mounts Park, it is now open. It's open 8 a.m. till dark, and I say we like I had any part. Kenny and his crew worked really hard and put in an 8-foot wide walking trailer on the entire small lake. They also then mulched, and they mulched the whole thing. They mulched an additional trail connecting the two lakes. So now there's a cut through, along with mowing a few other just kind of rustic trails. They're not mulched, but they're very clear trails throughout the woods and fields. So we're excited about that. Everything's finished mowed. Some parts that have been grown up in the past are now bush hogged. It just looks really beautiful down there. So we encourage everyone to get out. Events, you know, as we had to cancel the Easter egg hunt, our next event that we have not canceled is still Touch a Truck on June 22nd. It may get to the point where it has to be canceled, but right now we haven't. And so we want, you know, hopefully we can look forward to that, and people can, you know, keep that on their calendars and know that that's coming up for the community. As Mr. Weber reported, our settlement came in today, so that's been punched in. Everything was right on track, and Mr. Weber explained that, so I don't need to be redundant. And finally, I wanted to just, I know you guys realize it, but staff has done an outstanding job. They haven't missed a beat. They've remoted from home, and I mean, everybody's still building decks and stuff and flooding zoning calls. And of course, our first responders and public works, you saw everything they've done with all the parks. They're just doing a great job, and I wanted to highlight that. Nothing ever changes for Ellen. There's always bills. So nothing changed there. And, being in the office or at home, nothing changed. Cemetery deeds, we had one tonight along with all of our personnel and, everything with Kelly. I just couldn't be more proud of them. And then finally with our staff, we have a new staff member that we want to introduce. That's Nicole Early. She's joined us as a dual role. She will be our new community development coordinator and administrative assistant for public works. So she will be working as administrative assistant, doing all those duties that we had discussed earlier in the year, and then also planning and organizing all of our community events following your annual retreat where you kind of sent that direction to us. So we're really excited to have her on board, and she's joining us tonight for the first time. So kind of an odd time to join, but we're thrilled that you're here and excited to get to work and excited to get some community events and Kenny some very well needed help. So on the administrative side. So that's all I have. I just wanted to highlight that.
All right. Mr. Rozzi, any questions, comments, follow-up for Mr. Centers?
No, I do not. Everything sounds
All right.
good. I have some comment for the next section, but I'll wait till we
Gotcha.
get there.
Okay. Mr. Sousa, you have any follow-up for Mr. Centers?
I do not.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Then we will go ahead and move on to the trustee comments. Mr. Rozzi.
Well, mine are actually questions. And first off, I want to start off with Chief Hughes. How's you, your family, and your personnel and their families holding up?
Hey, Trustee Rozzi, thanks. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Thanks for asking. Everybody's doing really well. So far, fingers crossed, no one's gotten sick. No one's shown any signs. We've taken some steps here internally, practicing good social distancing. We've separated the front desk personnel so they don't work together as much. We've got one that has the ability to work remotely from home. But no, everybody's doing really well. Families are good. I appreciate you asking. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chief Reese, same for you.
So everyone's doing well. Morale's good. Guys are, they're cleaning and disinfecting like never before. And I've had two employees impacted by this. We've had them isolate either at home or at other locations, and we've monitored them. The first one's back to work already. The second one we're still monitoring at this point, but he's doing well. We have, I've just been amazed at how well the guys have been working and serving just like they always do. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kenny, how about you and your people and their families?
All of our guys are doing well, just as well as everybody said is with this. So we're just trying to stay separated as much as we can with mowing, and so we're staying out of pretty much the public's from being around too much in the area. But we're doing good.
Okay, Brett, your side of the building.
We're
And your families.
We're doing well. Yeah, I mean, we're still in and out of the office. We try to coordinate to where we're not there together. But like I said earlier, we still have personnel we deal with and insurance and cemeteries, and we're always paying the bills, and everybody's building decks now that they're home. So, and then Lindsay obviously helps every single one of us. So we're all in and out. We try to coordinate to where we're not in there together, but everyone's doing really well. I appreciate you asking. And I do want to clarify, since Lindsay just texted me, Touch of Trucks June 20th, not 22nd.
Okay.
And that's all I got. Thanks for asking.
No problem. And lastly, Mark, Daryl, and Kurt, how about you and your families? In any order you want to answer it.
Oh, I'm doing well. I appreciate it. Thank you. No, we're held up and we're doing school and work at home, but doing well. Thank you.
It's Mark. We're doing well as well. Had a college freshman that's had to come home for the last couple months of the year, and my high school senior, a boy and a girl that can tend to be like oil and water a little bit around each other and poking at each other. That's probably our biggest drama to deal with them being inside. But fortunate, and the community's doing well overall. So very enthused and encouraged in seeing that.
Yeah, thanks, Joe, for asking. This is Kurt. Yeah, everything's going well. The family's doing fine, so we feel blessed, and yeah, it's neat to see everybody out taking walks and doing things they wouldn't normally do. So it's I don't know. I'm hoping to get back in shape. Maybe, I don't know. So thanks for asking. How are your family and you doing?
We're good. We're healthy, and we're staying busy, same as everyone. I've got 2 girls here. One's supposed to graduate college. One's supposed to graduate high school this year, and unfortunately, they're going to miss that. Hopefully, they reschedule. My wife's working from home, so we're doing well. We're doing okay. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
That's all I've got, guys.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Sousa, do you have anything with regards to comments?
Yeah, I'll be brief. Joe, great questions. Thanks for caring about everybody's well-being and asking. I think we're taking that a little bit for granted right now as we're well settled into the stay-at-home orders. I just, reiterate, encouraged by what I see going in our community and people staying calm and focused and getting through this. And wanted to give a couple shout outs just to the staff overall. I think they've done a really nice job in assimilating, to working at home and remotely and staying on task and dealing with all the distractions and carrying things forward. They wanted to give a shout out to Kenny and his guys. It's kind of challenging for them. Our first responders have a lot of new protocols, but they're largely kind of business as usual with some changes for them. Kenny's guys working remote, being on and off from working at home and getting called in for duties, and especially the work down at Mounts. Really excited for us to get through this and fully enjoy that down there and continue to carry Mounts and adding some amenities forward. So just everybody keep their head up, and hopefully we're over the hump of this, and before you know it, we can maybe get back to business as usual.
Yep.
All right. I just have a few things myself. Basically want to reiterate what others have said with regards to just thanking the staff. You guys have done an outstanding job from Public Works, police, fire, the admin side. It's been, from my perspective, it's been pretty seamless, which is awesome, because I don't think I know how much of a struggle it can be just working from home myself, that the challenges you face, and then just everything going on. So appreciate all the hard work from everybody. Just also do want to remind everybody, Mounts Park is open. I know everybody's been looking forward to that even before this. So check it out. Go enjoy it down there. Just want to continue to encourage the residents just to stay safe. Just if you can, keep on supporting our local charities here in the township and Little Miami and Kings communities, and also just to continue to support as well as our local businesses around here in the township and community if you can. And with that is all I have this evening. So I will go ahead and make a motion to adjourn at 6:58 p.m.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rousey?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
All right. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Night.
Stay safe, everybody.